Hello everyone, this is Antonio from Random Stuff, and I wanted to make this video on request from one of the comments that I received from a user called Garrett, and it's basically an update of what I've got on my device in 2016. Now I've played around with CM13 on this LG G3 D855 international version, but I've gone back to my trusted Cloudy 2.5. If I just have a look at the software info, I'm on 5.0. Sounds a bit old considering that I was on 6.0.1, but until they fix the SD card encryption problem that I've experienced, I'm not going to be moving on to that, as it's something that does bother me quite a lot. Okay, so as you can see down the bottom here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 pages, including the home page of different screens. So I'll go through them. On here I've got my weather widget, which is my favorite widget. I've added on top of it this, let me just get rid of the desktop locked. I'm using Nova Launcher, and Nova Launcher allows me to lock the desktop in the settings. But I've added this this battery here that you can see. It's a really good application, as I find it sometimes hard to read the percentage in the top corner. So for example, if I'm doing a drive, or I'm going somewhere with a navigator, I find it difficult to see how much battery I've actually got left. So this battery is very good. You can go into it. There's lots of settings that you can do. You can see how much charge it has, how long there is remaining, typical usages that you can obtain from it. And I'm considering getting the Pro version, but I've only had it for a while, so I'm just going to keep testing it for now. The apart from the weather and clock widget, which I'll show you which one it is. Go into my widgets, right down the bottom. And so this video might be a bit longer than usual, but you can just skip if you want. Weather and clock widget, and I'm using the I've passed it already. I'm using this one here, which is, my preferred one. You can change the background. You can decide what happens when you click on things. So for example, when I click on the clock, it launches my favorite alarm, which is just have a look at info. Well, the reason why I like this particular one, if I just show you here the icon for it, it's called I something. I can't wake up. It's a very, very good application. So if when you launch it, you can see that you can specify for every single day how you are going to be woken up. So you've got your mathematical problems, you've got pattern problems. There's different ways that you can actually set it to wake you up, and it's very good, and I use it all the time. I've also got on this one screen this application called Should I Answer. I'm very happy with this. I've tried the Truecaller and some others, but I find this one to be quite good. I can actually set rules and have logs and decide what numbers can come through or not come through. And there's some settings of what sort of alerts you want, what alerts you want to show on your device. On top of that, I've got this application here, which is the parent mail application, which is for the school that my kids go to. So the school sends emails with the letters that they would normally post, but to save on paper, they're starting to do this more and more. So that's quite a good application that I normally look at. And to the top left, another favorite app of mine is called Redial. As you can see, starting Redial service, it's on, and I can turn it off. If you haven't tried it, so just have a look at it. If I just show you very quickly, if I can just find it in here, The keyboard that you see here is the AI one, and it's a great keyboard. If I just digress very quickly and just show you in my keyboards list, AI type keyboard plus, it's very good. I've purchased it and I'm quite happy. It hasn't got the seamless language transition from going from, say, Italian to English without having to swap the keyboards. SwiftKey does that quite nicely, and SwiftKey is my number one keyboard. I also have the LastPass one, and the LG keyboard, and the KeyPass 2 Android, which is the alternative to LastPass. But anyway, let's keep this one for now. You can see auto redial. When you access the application from the actual app drawer, you can see you can set the criteria and the parameters of how it should behave. So for example, I have a delay between redials of 2 seconds, and the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You can launch the dialer and it works really well. So for example, when I have to call the doctor in the morning, it's very difficult to get through. The device itself doesn't have a default redial service, so I use that, and it keeps dialing and redialing for me up to 50 times. I've set it to do it, and eventually gets through, obviously, so I don't have to worry about redialing myself. Then I've got another very good application here, which is called Office. I can't remember what they called it. Office settings. Anyway, link or something. Basically, it takes pictures with the borders, and it works really well. And so if I have any letters, I can just scan them and it cuts them for me beautifully. If you've not tried it, I suggest you do. Let me just tell you what it's called very quickly. Office Lens, that's what it's called. Office Lens, very good application. I've got my Facebook shortcut on here. I don't bother with the Facebook widget, as I think it's completely rubbish and not impressed at all with it. Never have been, so I will not use it. Then I've got the list of my Google apps in here, self-explanatory. A new one that I've started to use is Snappy, which seems to be very good. I use the rewards as well. That helps me to accumulate credit, and you know, it asks you simple questions, and as you can see, I've accumulated £5.24 at the moment. I've already spent about £4, so it's very easy to accumulate this, and it asks you very simple questions. It's not obtrusive, if that's the right word. So I suggest that you use Google Rewards if you want. Pocket Now is one of my favorites on all the browsers that I use on my work Mac or on my PCs or laptops. I've always got the Pocket snippet or shortcut that allows me to copy any documents or any pages where I think I may want to look at later. So as you can see here, a list of a couple of things, you know, how to pasteurize eggs to make tiramisu, for example. I thought that was an interesting document and I wanted to read it, so I've marked it there. A tutorial on how to install Dutch Cloud TV, Kodi, XBMC, and so forth. Kakao Talk is another messaging service, same as my WhatsApp at the bottom here. I've also, with Nova Launcher, you can let's just turn this off for now, otherwise it's going to keep asking me. Desktop locked. When you look at any of my icons, they have double function. So this one here, for example, if I swipe upwards, it will open Kakao Talk. My Yahoo Mail, if I do edit, it goes into the Play Store. So just to show this, if I just hold it and go upwards, it goes into the Google Play Store quite nicely. Now the reason on my display you can see the icons the way they are is because of a couple of things. The Cloudy G3 2.5 version, which is the latest one that Cloudy made, does have quite a nice resolution. However, if I go into my tools, I've got exposed installer, and I've got the latest version 3.0. It gives me this error message here, but it's actually not affecting the working of Exposed. Everything works perfectly fine. I've got some that I need to update, which I will soon. These are the modules that I use. App settings is absolutely paramount. It allows me to change the resolution of the widgets or the actual application. For example, BBC Player or even Nova Launcher, I could change through here. You basically go into it and change things. I won't go into that, otherwise the video would be far too long. There's a few others on here that you see I use. Gravity Box is one of the main ones for Lollipop. Got Greenify, although I'm not using it heavily. No device check and root cloak to make sure that applications such as bank applications can work without being seen as a rooted device. And then a very good one at the bottom there here is the YouTube background playback. This is very good because it allows me to switch the screen off and the YouTube video will continue to play in the background. Before, on the second page, I used to have here down the bottom next to the YouTube application, I used to have the Freedi, F-R-E-E-D-I app, which allowed me to do the same thing. But I don't need that anymore because I can do it natively with the Exposed framework module. Then on here I can just show you very quickly my navigation tools. Here Maps, Map Measure. Map Measure was a useful overlay to measure distances on maps, but now Google Maps does that natively, so I don't really need it, so I will be deleting it soon. I've got navigation, local, my tracks, find my car, street view, Earth, Google Earth, fake location if you want to trick your phone to show a different location if you need to do that. There has been some situations where I've had to do this to watch some content. And Llama, my absolute favorite. As you can see at the top in the notification status bar, you can see the Llama profile called normal is activated, and I can go into that just by doing edit, and I can change the notification ring volume, the ringtone volume. I can change the ringtone, the notification tones, and there's quite a lot of features. The developer hasn't updated this in a very long time, but it's still by far the best profile control application that there is out there. If you look at this Llama, if you look at the events that I've got on here, you know, I really use these a lot. You know, for example, disabling Bluetooth after work, enabling Bluetooth after work. You know, for example, I get into my car and it knows, you know, it can even be done with NFC. I've got tags that I've used with this. I can say if I'm at home, do not lock it. If I'm at work, lock it. If I'm in the car, the phone won't have a passcode, so I don't have to worry about unlocking it while I'm driving. Bluetooth will be on. There's so many things that you can do with this, and you know, I'd be lost without it. I've really wanted to try Tasker, which is the other application which apparently can do everything that Llama can, if not more. But the user interface is not that friendly, and but I will give it another chance eventually. And areas, you can see here, I've got a list of areas, and these are the cells that it picks up in the area that I'm in. So for example, at home, I've picked up a total of 66 different cells. If you look at recents, you can see all the cells there, and Llama is fantastic. Browsers, these are the browsers that I use. Chrome is starting to be my favorite one for day-to-day browsing. If I want to browse privately, for example, to go to bank websites, I will use Maxton. Dolphin is also pretty good. LastPass is excellent as well, and CM browser is surprisingly good, although I don't use it as much. Firefox, I hardly ever use it. It's my favorite browser on the PCs or Macs, but I don't really like it that much on the portable phone devices. Sports, I've got a few here: motorcycle, Formula 1 reader, BBC Sports, boxing fan, Italian soccer, and Paddy Power for any bets. I got my Google inbox linked to one of my accounts, but all my other accounts that I have are not going through Google inbox, otherwise it would be too much to manage on both platforms. but it works very well, and I use both. Notifications are on all the apps, and as you can see at the bottom here, I've got the normal phone application. I won't go into that, otherwise I have to start blurring things. I can't be bothered. For messaging, I found this one to be the best one. It's called Yata, and it's good because it's got the feature of, it gives you the pop-up, like the Facebook pop-up of the messenger, where you can select it and you can throw it down the bottom into the X to delete it, or you can respond, or you can call. I can move it to the side and delete, or put an alarm, or move to the other side to forward, or to dial the number. So I'll just show you how I delete it. There you go, and it's gone. It's very good. It's got also timed messages, so I can send a message with a timer, and it's got lots and lots of features. It does everything that I needed to do. I used to use hand sent. I've used pretty much all of them, but Yata is the one that I'm happy with on my device at the moment. In the middle there, I've got the circle launcher, which basically opens this circle of launchers of the most commonly contacted numbers. So it's a very quick way of me calling my favorites. Instead of going by the phone, I just click on the little button there, and there it goes. And I can actually, if I open it and hold it, I go into the menu, and you can see I can change the widget labels, the icons, the settings. There's so much that you can do on this. It's unbelievable. Very good application. On the as far as the camera is concerned, one of the reasons why I like Cloudy is because I'm using the stock camera. As you can see, I've got the not the full resolution, because I like to have the screen completely full. So that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Next thing, we'll go on to the next page. I've got my Google Keep, where I have my notes and cards. I've got my torch application. If I need the light quickly, I just go into this one here. I can switch it on. It's already switched on. Switch off, and that's gone. I've got two applications for call assistance. So if you're in a situation where you want a phone call to interrupt you so that you can move on, you just use either one of those. They do the same job. They're very good applications. And for those times where you need to set a stopwatch or just an alarm quickly, you can do it through here. You've got a timer and stopwatch at the bottom there, as you can see. Very good. It's called Ultra Chrome or something. Floating notes. Very good application. It's good because it stays on the screen. You know, you can move it, and it puts a little pen on the side, as you can see there. It's very, very discreet. Just touch that. It should come up if I touch it perfectly on there. To the side, there. So I can type in there, obviously. Move it to the side, hide it. There you go. Call it back up. Oh no, to call it I have to drag it out. There it is. Sorry, that was my mistake. And you know, I can change the color, copy paste, and that's floating notes. OneNote. I love OneNote. I've got all the notes synced there, even from my work. I've got this tube mate at the bottom here, which I'm not really using that much. A new application that I've found that I like is the Peel remote control. If I just launch that, let's see if it comes up. I started using it because I had some issues with the Cyanogen Mod 13. The default quick remote wasn't working, but I have this native one which is perfect and everything works. So the only one that I could use that did the job, is this still recording? Yeah. So the only one that I could use that was of any good was this one here, Pure Smart Remote. And so if you click on the yellow icon at the bottom, it brings up the remotes that you add. The only thing I found that is one button on here wasn't working. The channel down wasn't giving me the channel down. It was actually switching it off. So that was the only issue. But everything else was absolutely fine. You know, I could even put custom remotes. But yeah, Peel Smart Remote is a very good remote. It's got lots of features. Photos. These are the photo apps that I use. Chess. A couple of chess games that I use. The Google Authenticator, fantastic for your dual authentication. Some games for kids, other games to pass the time. TV stuff. Got some TV catch up to watch UK TV, IMDb, check up on movies, Netflix, Chromecast for my Chromecast that I've purchased in December of last year. Very happy with that. Works very well. Yahtzee, the best remote control for my KBMC or Kodi on my TV, works beautiful, and Core is an alternative to Yahtzee. MX Player, my favorite video player. Then you got your BBC Media, TV Online, Sky Go, unified remote, which is fantastic to control remotely your PC. So that's that page there covered. Let's go to the next one. I've got a widget here for all the sports live soccer results, and I can actually go in there and change favorites. I can select teams. For example, I can select a team like this. Sorry, I just select a team, and I can decide to set an alarm, put it into my calendar, and it's a really good application. I won't go into that, but it's very good. I got the widget for the BBC News on this same page, and there you go, just some news. One thing I have to say about Cyanogen Mod 13, it was very fast. The experience was very uniquely fast. I've never had any ROM as fast as that. It's okay on Cyanogen, sorry, it's okay on my Cloudy, but that was special fast. Anyway, Flipboard, another application that I use. You can go through different feeds that can come in, you know, and you just get some news. You can go into them. It's just got this really nice, slick way of moving between pages. You know, as you can see there, the way it scrolls up, it's really cool. So sometimes I read on that. I've got the BBC News widget here with some news feeds there, and I've got some others there, some Italian news sites, and Engadget as well there. And then on here, you can see one of my stumble upon widget, which is really good. Occasionally I just go over here and just see some weird, odd stuff, which looks pretty good. And this is my media center control from Yahtzee. This is just a simple widget of theirs. Works really well. Music, basically the widget that you see here with David Bowie in the background is the music match, which is this one here. Just the icon. I won't go into it, but it's very good. I've got another one here from Google. I've got some widget down there for local radio. I've got some favorite links on the side, things that you probably all know about: Spotify, TuneIn, BBC iPlayer, and the native radio, which is fantastic, and it works perfectly as well. Next one, my stories here, my top stories from Abby Geek. I get some interesting news feeds in here, which are quite nice to read now and again. And at the bottom, I've got my Google Plus, where I can read some stories for the account that I've chosen. Plume's my favorite Twitter account. I'm not a heavy user of Twitter, but I do read stuff on here. Follow my football team, stuff on SwiftKey, local news as well, NASA. See what the rover is doing on Mars, and then I've got the random stuff Twitter account at the bottom as well. My favorite calendar widget and PIM, if it is a PIM, I'm not sure if it's a full PIM, but it's a calendar plus. You can customize that to your heart's content. So basically it's this one here. I'll show you. There is a calendar plus on the second row. I've got add away to get rid of the adverts. I've got to renew it because there's some adverts that I've seen. And so you can see some of the applications that I use. Aptoid is the alternative to the Google Play. It's very good. If you've not tried it, you need to download this from one of the websites. But it gives you the option to download applications from the store just as you would on Google Play. So it's very good. This is where you would get things like 3D, for example, that you wouldn't find on Google Play. I've got my 500 fire paper there, which is the application I use to change every 24 hours. I change the wallpaper, but if I get bored of it, I can just hit it with 3 fingers and it will change. Just quickly show you, 3 fingers, there you go, and it will change it to something else. Okay, I could do that and it will keep changing it. Going back into here, you can see here some of my recorders, my battery app. I've downloaded an application recently for dimming the screen at night and also to get rid of the blue lights. It's called Dimly. This is a very good one that I use. There you go. See, it changes the color. You can blue light filter to take it off. It's not really working very well, maybe because I'm doing so many things at the same time. Okay, so let's not worry about that. Here's some of my applications. You can see here my gravity lollipop, which is where you can do your lock screen tweaks and have the clock in the center at the top, like I've got it there. You've got my Omni style, I think it's called, data of uploads and downloads, the icons, the battery, circle battery, everything is done through here, and there's a lot more that I haven't chosen. And I've also set the icons at the bottom of the navigation bar. So for example, my recent button, which is this one here that I'm clicking on, if I double tap it, it goes to the previous app. So if I do tap tap, it goes to the previous, and tap tap again, it goes to the previous again, and similar functions on all the others. Everything is customized to behave in a certain way. One thing that I used to use, well actually, yeah, I've still got Google Now here and not yet, so I'm going to Google Now there, just like that. I've got fuel prices, Google Sky, links to get links from any browser that you're on. That's another good one. Fit links for the gym. First utility to log my meter readings for gas and electric and send it to my supplier. ILOS, which is the alternative to what I'm using at the moment to record the screen recordings. I used it because in CyanogenMod I couldn't use the one that I'm using now, or SCR Pro I wasn't able to use, the one that I've actually purchased. Here, maps, hot UK deals, iTriage, LG Health, Llama, local phone, another fantastic app. I've got Logcat to get data. I've got no LED settings, very good application. I love this one here. Basically, when the screen is off, icons will come and warn me that there is a notification. And I've gone with icons for the SMS app or for the missed calls, Google Talk, voicemail, and more. There's so much that could be said about that as well. Netflix, navigation, Octagon Insurances, National Rail, MyFitnessPal for monitoring how much weight you've lost, Minesweeper, fantastic app, MediSafe, very good app, so many. OneDrive, OneNote, Sudoku, OpenVPN for my VPN tunneling with a VPN UK service I use, subscribe. Photos is a fantastic app to keep all your photos with unlimited storage with the reduced size of images. Pushpuller, another excellent app where synchronizing it to the browser tells me all the messages and where they're coming from. Puzzles, periodic table, a few things I could probably get rid of. As you can see down the bottom, I've got 3, 6, 9, 11 I think. So if you think there's 30 items on each page, I've got over 300 applications here. So it's quite impressive, quite a lot. It doesn't look like it's 300, but as you can see, there's that many pages, and each page is 5 by 6, so that's 30 on each page. SCR Pro, screen turn off, I don't use it anymore, still there because I use Nova Launcher. Shop Savvy, Should I Answer, Spock, Silent Recorder, Smart Voice Recorder, Skype, Sleep Talk, another good little application. Studio for YouTubers, SwipePad, it's one of my favorites. So basically this is the one where you swipe from the side and you can choose things quickly. Team Viewer, Swift key, my Super SU application. Texture order DPI. I can use this to change the DPI, and I know that some people want to know what grid I'm using, and I'm going to show you what grid I'm using on Nova in a moment, but it's quite high. I like to have smaller icons if anything. So you can see here some other apps, Titanium Backup, Talk, Light, Virtual Pour, another good game that I like playing, Vivino for wines, if you want to know the origins of a wine. You've got TV Guides, TripAdvisor, Trivago, all pretty good. You got Trading 212, voice recorder. Watch Beep is another simple application that I love now that I've installed. Basically enables us a default beep beep sound every hour, and I tell it not to do it after 11 o'clock. It doesn't do it anymore, and it starts again when I tell it to start, which is at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I get a double beep every hour, which is quite nice. XDA, fantastic little application that lets you get into the XDA forums and search by category, by name. You can log in with your user, you can look at the forums, answer questions, ask questions, and get all the up-to-date information of the ROMs that you're using. Quite a nice application. Voice search we know about. Yata is the message I mentioned before. Zedge, everyone knows Zedge. I got my notification sounds added from Zedge into the operating system. Zoiper is a way to make phone calls using an internet phone number. With the provider that I use, Local Phone, they give me an internet phone number so I can be phoned on Zoiper as well. Yahoo Mail, Yahtzee, YNAB. You need a budget. This is a very good application. Purchase the actual desktop one, and it just helps you budget, month to month, and give each pound or dollar, as they say, a function and a job. Exposed installer, fantastic, can't be without that. That's one of the things that I love, and on CyanogenMod 13 I was able to use it as well. Then I've got Word, I've got WhatsApp, and so forth. So these are the applications, very quickly and fast that I've got on the device. Just change the screen because it's a bit too bright. Let's see if it changes. This is a bit crazy. Just leave that one there. Yep. So I can even, if I click on the moon, it gives me information about the weather as well. And that's it. The device is pretty fast. It's not as fast as CyanogenMod 13, but it's fast enough. I'm very happy with it. Let's have a look at the settings for my Nova. I've got my backups and restores in here. What else? If I go to the desktop, just to show the icon layout, I've got this setup here, 95% icon size, shadow, single line, if anyone's interested. If we look at the desktop grid, I've gone for a 10 by 9. So this is what I'm using, 10 by 9. Infinite scroll, and there's so much you can change here. You just play around with it, whatever works for you. Nova's fantastic. Before I finish the video, I'll just quickly go into the app settings app, because this is where you can really start tweaking things on an app per app basis. So as you can see, 465 apps loading. This is the native ones and my ones. So there's so much on there. I want to show you my Titanium Backup app as well very quickly to show you what it looks like as well. So let's just quickly get these loaded. As you can see, anything which is red has been modified by me. So the BBC one, I've changed the DPI to have 0, and which defaults to whatever the default is. The screen DPI, I've put it to 324/80 and a font scale of 100. I could change any of these if I wanted to. You get the idea. I haven't, since I've come back to Nova. What did I put for Nova? 500 and 100. So if anyone wants to try these settings, you can. And finally, I've got my 3 different docks at the bottom, each with double function as ever. ES is my favorite application for as a file manager with a password to get in. and it works fine. The encryption works absolutely fine on Lollipop. I've got no problems whatsoever. I've got MyFitnessPal, my contacts, local phone, Google Translator, the calculator, my gallery, eBay, Amazon as a double function. If I go up, I go into Amazon. I've got my Outlook account there, Skype, Shazam, which I prefer to SoundHound, which is good, but I do prefer the speed of Shazam. I'm actually able to get a song immediately when I just click on the button, so it's a little bit faster than SoundHound in my experience. So these are all the tools that I've got in there that I use, just if you want to have a look at them. And I've shown my favorites. These are my favorite apps, some of my favorite apps. What's that one? And finally, I'll just show you Titanium Backup, where you can go into the settings and preferences. I've taken encryption off because it was a little bit slow. And as you can see here, I've got the extension card, 64 gig, how much is free, internal media, 32, and how much I've got left, and the system ROM. When I was on Cyanogen Mod 13 with the encryption issues, I wasn't getting my extension card showing up in here, which was quite frustrating. And apparently they're looking into it. I didn't want to come out of that so quickly. If I go into my batch actions, this is one of the reasons I purchased this application, because it allows me to do the batch actions. The free one allows you to do backups and restores on a one app at a time basis. As you can see here, some of the things that I can do, I've got what is it? It's a little bit laggy with everything that's running at the moment. Backup new user system and apps of the new versions, 15 apps. Restore missing apps with data, so I could if I wanted to. So for example, if I look on there, these are the things that I recently uninstalled. Flash on call kept giving me problems, that it would not allow me to answer phone calls. I'd have installed something similar. Night Owl as well got replaced by the new one that I showed you earlier. So if I were to run the backup of the new ones, these are all the ones that I've actually haven't updated recently. There you go. Flash alerts is the one that I'm using at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic and I love it, and dimly as well. So I will update those later. But as you can see, a total of 474 apps, and these are all updated into my internal media, and I've copied them all onto my PC. So whenever I do ROM changes, apart from taking an Android backup, I've also got everything backed up in either Dropbox, my PC, so I can restore things to the way they were without much problem. As I've had issues in the past, now I'm always, I always try to be one step ahead. So that's it. That wraps it all up, really. That's everything that I have on my device in 2016. It's a very busy device. It's got lots of different things going on it, and possibly I could get rid of about 100 applications on this thing. But the reason why I keep it is for the simple reason that I can. There is nothing stopping me from using it. The RAM is not suffering. The ROM, I've got still 335 megabytes free. It doesn't really lag. Occasionally I do get some heating on the back button, the central back button, which is a known issue. I wasn't getting that in Cyanogen Mod 13, to be fair, and I don't think it's going to be too long before I make the move, because I do like some of the new features that Google Now offers with the cards and the intelligent way of figuring out what you're doing and suggesting things based on what you are doing or where you are. So very likely I will move away to those ROMs as soon as something more stable comes out. I know that there is a stock version that has been released, and I have tried it, but it also gave me the encryption card problems. It didn't have the call recorder that you get natively on this device, and just a few things here and a few things there I just can't live with. Even the remote control, I can never have the perfect remote. The camera is never the perfect camera unless it's on the native one. So for that reason, I've gone back to what I know that works very well, and everything works perfectly on this device. Very fast. Battery's not fantastic, Battery is quite disappointing, in fact, because it will not last me a full day. I am quite a heavy user of the phone, and I'm lucky to get 3 hours out of the device. To be honest, you know, I can't lie and say I get 4 hours, because I don't. But I've always got a spare battery in my pocket. I've always got a cable that I can hook it up, and I can't wait to basically replace this device with a new, hopefully LG G5, which I hope will be a device that has fingerprint scanning, recognition at the back, and the eye recognition as well, and overall should be a huge improvement on this one. So thanks for watching this long video. I hope it's given some of you some ideas of some things that you can do. If you have any questions, jot them down below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching, everyone. Until the next one, take care. Cheers. Bye.